Hey everybody, it's Pete Toll, aka PT Sports 84, back for another video. 2K NBA 2K dropped a next gen patch update today. It's February 23rd, 2022. It's patch update 1.10 on next gen consoles. So I just wanted to go through some of the player likenesses that were officially updated. And just kind of share those. So, in case anybody was curious. So, looking at the free agent pool first, they updated a couple players here. Devin Cannady had already had a face scan in 2K. So, was looking more for a I guess you could say tattoos, things like that, but I don't really see anything on him. Maybe they, uh, touched up the face a little bit more. Not really sure kind of what they did there with Kennedy, but he was on the list for guys that were actually updated with new scans. So I'm not sure if maybe they just forgot to take him out of the patch notes since he was in like two patch notes again, unless they rescanned him. Not really sure on that one. Next player, we have Josh Hall, who's playing right now in the G League for the Raptors 905. He's got tattoos and a signature scanned face. So as you see that face scan there for him, and then of course you can see the tattoos added to him there. And then they have Matthew Hurt on the list, and this is where it bugs me with 2K. So Matthew Hurt was previously a two-way player for the Rockets over the summer. They had signed him to a two-way contract, cut him, and then he ended up with the Memphis Hustle in the G League. He played, a handful of games in the G League in the showcase that started off the year, but then didn't look great with the Hustle during the regular season and then went down with the season-ending injury. So there's no chance for him to make a roster, which means there's no chance for him to show up in a roster update to show you the scan. So I would have just left him off completely, and they could have added him later, if things change, but I wouldn't have put him on the list because he's nowhere to be found. And 2K's done that quite a bit. Next player in the free agent pool, speaking of the Memphis Hustle, one of the stars of the team, Freddie Gillespie, who had a couple 10-day contracts this season with the Orlando Magic. He actually finally gets a face scan. He's long overdue for an official face scan, so glad to see that. There's the official face for him. The hair, as you can see, is updated as well. So those are the free agents. This was a lighter update. I could usually tell when the updates are larger or lighter just by the file size that you have to download. Next up, I want to go to the New Orleans Pelicans, and Jose Alvarado has been playing really well out of Georgia Tech. He should hopefully eventually get a standard contract, maybe. They'd have to figure out a roster spot, but I think he deserves a standard roster spot. As you can see, he's got his tattoos there, and then signature face scan. So glad they got him in there. I keep clicking on the wrong thing. For anybody that's wondering, I am not a player like this guy. I just want to draw it to the attention. I'm more of an overall roster update guy, so I'm not a guy that cuts videos and, did show you different angles and all that stuff. I'll leave that to like Tico Corey or guys like that that really want to go in depth with it. That's kind of what they do. That's their lane. I'm an overall roster editor guy, but just wanted to bring attention to the guys that were updated. So that's Jose Alvarado. Another one that I was so glad to see finally get updated because it's hard to replicate his hair is Dalano Banton. Had a good start to the season, but has kind of trailed off. But as you can see, his face and his signature hair are in the game. So that's really good to see. Spin him around there. And then we get into, well, actually, I got one more. So we get to another rookie who's been actually playing exceptionally well, and that's Trendon Watford, who just recently signed a multi-year contract with the Portland Trailblazers, has his contract converted from a two-way to a standard deal. So there's Trendon Watford, including his signature hair as well. So then we get into guys that were on various lists. There's not very many guys that were updated in this particular update, but there was a couple guys that fans had asked to have a new scan, or new official scan of. Here is James Wiseman, who is on the list. Let's see if we can get him there. There's James Wiseman. And I always like to double check if they have anything where they, no hair or anything like that that would be different for him. So that's Wiseman. Zeke Nnaji for the Denver Nuggets has been playing really well. As you can see, that's a definite different face for him. You can tell that right away. There's Zeke Nnaji, thinner face. You can tell it's always a face scan versus a player that was a 2K artist render by their art team, just by the tone of the skin and just kind of the brightness there of it. And you can kind of decipher the two there. So there's Zeke Nnaji, and then Derrick Rose. See him. Derrick Rose. As you can see, touched up, I guess, the face a little bit. My understanding, based on the notes, is that he also got a dynamic hair update, but it's not showing here. So I don't know if the dynamic hair update was from the last update. They just carried it over there, but didn't really show up. Another dynamic hair update, while I'm touching on it, is Ziaire Williams. So they say. Let's see here. Let's look at him. They do have a little bit different, so it's a little bit longer and a little bit shorter. You can see the style there changes. Not really much of a change there. I guess you could say that's a quality update if that's what you're looking for. Bones Hyland got a update to his hair, but it's not really showing, so I don't really know what's happening here with 2K in their patch notes, but to each their own, I guess. Don't want to miss anybody, so let's go back to the Toronto Raptors. Why can I not find? There he is. Precious Achiuwa. Says he got a dynamic hair update as well. Okay. So, not really a hair update. It's a headband update. Okay. To each their own there. Another dynamic, last but not least, dynamic hair update is Jimmy Butler. This one obviously is noticeable. There's one, there's the headband, and he has the headband with the upper hair there, and the tied back look there. So 5 total styles for Jimmy Butler, and also, decent change for them. And then 2K added in some guys that hopefully eventually will go to, I'm assuming it'll be my team for most of these guys. Like Salim Stoudemire will be my team, well known for the Hawks, and played at Arizona, well known for the Hawks in 07-08. Tony Smith should be added to the 90-91 Lakers. Not the 2K updates any of the historic content in season, as we've seen. Danny Shays is Dolph Shays' son. Many will remember Danny Shays for the Denver Nuggets. Played last with the Orlando Magic, if I remember off the top of my head. He'll be my team because there's no team in the game for him to go on. Pablo Prigioni. Let's actually check him and see if the face made it in. He's actually an assistant coach for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So let's see if he actually got added in here. Pablo Prigioni. I don't think that's Prigioni's face. Can't really see it from far away. I would say no, that's not Prigioni, but I hate these far away looks because you can't ever get a good read at it. But I would say no, that 2K has to update that. That would be good for them to do. They now have Jeremy Lin in my team. So earlier, like last year, I had pushed that 2K change the 2011-2012 Knicks to the 2012-2013 Knicks, and then they could have gotten Prigioni on there. But otherwise, Prigioni's not on a team in the game, so he'll be my team exclusive as well. Tom Meshery, formerly of the Warriors, my team. And then two guys that I was surprised that Raja Bell, which obviously he's on two teams, classic teams in the game. He's on the 2000-2001 76ers and then the 2002-2003 Dallas Mavericks. Really hope they can get him updated in at some point. And then Willie Anderson would be another one that they need to get added to the game. Willie Anderson, if people remember, played on the Spurs as well as the Miami Heat, and he would actually be on the Miami Heat for the 96-97 Miami Heat. You could really make an argument he'll mostly be my team because he was late 80s, early 90s Spurs, and that'll kind of be the route they go. But he did sign a rest of the season contract in late January of the 97, which would mean that he would be on that 96-97 Miami Heat team, respectively. So I would like to see him added in the game. But like I said, it's just funny that 2K, who they pick and who they don't pick to update. But one thing I do want to highlight, because I get a lot of people that ask me on Twitter, especially, I get a ton of DMs. I just don't publicly say much just because I think I have a fairly good relationship with 2K, as well as, I'm not going to burn any bridges with anything. But a lot of people slam 2K for not updating players such as Anthony Edwards, Reggie Jackson, guys like that. What people have to realize is 2K has to be able to have within their budget the ability to, number one, go out and scan those players, because the scanning technology is thousands of dollars per player. That means they have to work with NBA teams, get the scheduling to come and bring the mobile unit to that particular city. We have COVID still going, even though it's not as rampant as it was. So there's still restrictions there. Then the other part of it is players have to have their schedule open when 2K is coming to be able to get that scan, as well as being willing to get the scan. Terrence Ross is an example of the Orlando Magic. The past 2 seasons, twice in a row, the mobile scan unit through Pixel Gun and 2K has visited Orlando to scan the team. And both times, Terrence Ross declined. Once because he needed a haircut and a shave, and the second time because it did not work into his schedule as far as that particular time. So that's why you don't see an updated scan for him. But that's a good, look into kind of how that goes. Because a lot of people think like, oh, 2K, just go scan them and be done. And that's not quite how it works, because you have to have the budget, the scheduling, and then the commitment from not only the players but the team themselves. And then the other part of it I want to reiterate is players might get scanned. Let's say they got scanned in January of 2022. It takes a little bit for the team, the 2K art team, to touch up whether they need to touch up the skin tone if it's scanned too bright, or add extra tattoos because those are scanned separate. They might have to wait on the rights of those tattoos from the player's artist, tattoo artist that did them, to get approval for those, and or hair updates, things like that all come into play. So they might scan them in January and not get them in until March, or later. Some players that they may be going around scanning now, they may not end up in the game until 2K23. Now, I'm not somebody I'm going to complain and say, oh, this player needs to be in, this is ridiculous. I think that as long as 2K can get them in within a game cycle, that's fine. If we know that it's coming, it's okay. What I don't agree with is players such as, for example, we have Drew Eubanks has been in the NBA since the 2018-2019 season. So this is his fourth NBA season. He has a generic face. In this case that you may have missed Drew Eubanks through multiple times trying to get, he was previously on the Spurs, visiting the Spurs through multiple times. You missed him. You couldn't work out the scheduling. Then have 2K's art team work on that artist render for that particular player if it's past 2 seasons, if you were unable to get them. They also have, like, Keljin Blevins. Obviously, he was on a two-way. Most people probably don't care, but he's in his second year of a two-way. And you could just as easily do a quick artist render and get him updated. And then that could be a placeholder like it was for a lot of players last year during COVID until you can get the official scans in. Jock Landale being another one. There's a number of players that 2K still hasn't gotten. O'Shea Brissett is another one that they haven't got an official scan for in a couple seasons. We also have John Conchar. Same thing, couple seasons have gone by, and they've not gotten him in. Tyler Cook is another one. Moses Brown in the free agent pool. So there's a number of guys that 2K could get, the 2K art team to work on and do a hand-drawn render, at least to get a proper update in the meantime until maybe 2K23 we can get a face scan. I'm not going to nitpick players' hair, and if a facial hair is a little bit different on a player's, that's already in the game, if they have an official scan, then that's fine. Like, I'm not going to blast 2K because they have Carmelo Anthony still without braids. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Like, there's a workaround in the game. You could use the old Carmelo from the all-time Nuggets team with the braids and use that for now if you really wanted to. But more so, I've seen people really, really dog out 2K, especially for, where is he, Anthony Edwards. I agree, this Anthony Edwards is a artist-drawn 2K render. They weren't able to get him an official scan before they released 2K 21 that would have had his original render in. But they at least could have gotten the skin tone a little bit more correct. But that's just nitpicking. And that's not something, I officially do out in the open. It's something I'd like to see changed, but I'm not going to blast and tag 2K, and I hope that you guys wouldn't either, but I see it a lot. I see devs getting tagged like Dazar, Baluba, which is Mike Wang. Even Mike Stauffer, who does the ratings, gets blasted because these players aren't updated with their new renders, and they have nothing to do with it. Not a single art team member that's a director, the director, assistant director, anything like that, is on social media. Now you have Razor, who handles the historic renders when he's given them by 2K, but he doesn't have a choice in picking them, nor does he do current players on a regular basis. He was able to do some artist renders in the past when 2K had to update without the face scans for some of the rookie players. Obviously, he posted those on his owns social media, but people blast him too for why these players aren't updated, and it's not fair. He doesn't have control over them, nor does he work on current players. So please leave him alone, and no, he cannot forward on to the art team players that need to be updated. That's what forums are for, both the 2K Sports Forum and the Operation Sports Forum. There's threads that are there to highlight pictures, show artist renders that need to be updated as well. So keep that in mind. That was the update for today. But one other thing I want to highlight while I'm already in here so I don't have to make a separate video for it. Part of the roster update, not the patch, the roster update on 223 was that the All-Star Weekend rosters were finally updated. So we got the Rising Stars here. They can't control the four-way split of the Rising Stars, Team Barry, Team Worthy, and all those, like Team Isaiah. Those aren't going to happen because they would have to code it totally different. Not going to happen this late in the cycle. But they were able to update Bones Hyland and Jonathan Kuminga in there for replacing Chris Duarte and Davion Mitchell. And then if you go over to the teams here, Jared Allen was added in there for James Harden on Team LeBron. And then Team Durant here, a lot of people noticed that it says Team Joel. Well, if anybody knows anything about coding, if Team Durant Kevin Durant is not part of the team, primarily you would have to do the next best player there. If Durant was on the team, it'd be named Team Durant, but because he's injured, they took him out of the game, and that's why they went with Team Joel. So those are the updates for today. They did minor transactions. A couple 10-day contracts were signed. A couple two-way deals were signed as well. So go in, check the update out. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed, as well as leave a comment below. Give me a couple players that you think that need to be updated, pretty heavily, not just a beard or hair update, that really need a legit face scan or a redo of a already scanned player. Let me know that in the comments below. I'll see what I can do as far as taking some of those comments and then putting together my own list. I already have a list that I posted on Operation Sports, but I'll add to it just based on feedback. And as long as it's legitimate and pretty thorough, don't give me a somebody's face sucks, comment, please. Please be detailed and thorough with your feedback. Hope everybody has a great day, and thanks for watching.